Good morning, traders. This is Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass with a morning look at markets for Tuesday, August 25th. Okay, this morning, a quick look at the indexes, a quick look at FAAMG, and then a couple charts I've got my eye on. We've been talking about this, those that are new. SPY 4-hour, we're challenging the lower part of this trend channel, and now we're working our way up back into the low side of the channel. Futures are up this morning, not as much as yesterday, but they are up. I think I saw about 15 points. So we're due to open around the 344 area. Want to keep a bullish bias. We're not going to get panicky with all these yellow flags. We'll start raising the antenna if we start losing 335 and dropping back in below the channel. But for now, I think price is telling us that bullish is the place to be. Yesterday, we had price gap up. And then come back, and it held this level right here at basically 341.25. I should have marked that there. I've got the gap marked at 341.07. Got a couple of wicks coming down here, but really spent the whole day in that opening range until we got a pop in the final hour of trade. And that reminds me of earlier in the year where we saw that, the overnight gap, then the camp all day, and then the ramp at the end of the session. So today, I've superimposed this box. I've lifted it up as a measured move on the breakout to this 344 area. So today we can see, if we consolidate in this range or break out or break down. And remember the rules. If you have a clean breakout, which we did, and then you operate up here and then you fall back down below, your target becomes the bottom of the prior trading range. And then, of course, if that were to break, then the gap fill. But, that was tough trading yesterday. I mean, it's just a day where you can't really get anything going. It would have been tough to, you could have been long against the bottom and then got that nice ramp into the close. But other than that, there wasn't a ton of trades to make yesterday on SPY. QQQ. A little advance. We're up here at the midpoint of the channel, trying to make a move up to the upper half of this channel, where we could make a run at the top. I did see an interesting trade yesterday in the option market. They were looking for September 293 calls in the Qs, so that would align pretty well with popping above this midpoint and then making a run for the top of the channel. 293 is just 8 points higher than where we are now by September, which is 4 weeks away. September expiration, 4 weeks away. So that's reasonable. It was a pretty big order too. I forget the quantity, but it was in the thousands. So somebody looking for upside there. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Here you could have gotten short here at 284.50 and gotten this backfill. That would have been a nice trade. That was really about the only one that I can see where, if you got short and then, covered here at this support level that we had identified at 282. You could have got a little bounce here, but then they faded it, and then you got a little bounce. So really the big trade was playing for the gap fill, and that's what played out. So for today, if there's a breakout above 284.50, I think you can buy it. And then the measured move is up here to 287. Otherwise, I would expect, more chop in this range. And if we were to drop below 282, I think you're going to come back here and test 279. So 284.50 and 282 are your key levels, which were the trading range from yesterday with the gap fill. IWM, I can see here there was the opening gap higher, and then it did a quick gap fill. If you can see that wick there, that came all the way back down and closed the gap, and then spent literally the whole day in a very, very narrow range, and then one big candle at the close. That would have been a frustrating, long day of watching candles if you were expecting, IWM to do something. And that, markets don't always give us what we want, and there wasn't really much of a trade to make there. You're kind of in no man's land here between 155 and 156.50. So there wasn't a whole lot to shoot against yesterday, given where price was. Now this morning, I took a quick peek, and price is right in here in this 157 area. Noticed that before it was real choppy between 156.50 and 158. If you could get an entry, right against 156.50, I think you could hang in there long. Be patient, hang in there long, and see if you get a move up to 158. And that's where I would probably be taking it off. If it broke through there, I would jump right back in with some at the money calls and see if you can get a run up to 160. In the blog post this morning, I don't know if you noticed it yesterday, but they came running back in to cyclicals and value yesterday. Moves in the banks, moves in the airlines, moves in the hotels, moves in the cruise lines, and any other kind of junk you can imagine. And although they didn't sell off QQQs, it was certainly soggy. So that's going to be something to watch today and rest of the week. If they keep plowing into value and cyclicals, you're going to see it in industrials, in financials, XLF. You're going to see it here in IWM make a move higher, and you'll see QQQ be soggy. So just from a 30,000 foot level, be aware of that today, and see if there's, if it was a one-day wonder or if there's, any power behind that move. So let's take a quick look at FAANG. It's kind of a soggy day all the way around. It gapped higher, came back, stayed in this narrow range, left this little gap behind. So today, this I think you can be long against 269.50, but if it loses that level, it's coming back here to 266, and of course, if it were to lose that, then back here to 261. So that upside target remains 278. And I did see some bullish order flow into Facebook yesterday. Not, not crazy, but I did see quite a number of larger trades in the September 277s and 275s in that range, looking for a move up here towards 278. Apple, the big pop on the open, came back to fill its gap, and then pretty much did nothing the rest of the day. I guess you could use 500 as a pivot point, but really there's not a lot inside this range. It's kind of no man's land. I really prefer, working against the boundaries of the trading range. So at 493 and at 515, I think those are much more objective levels than to, try and fire off stuff right in the middle of the range. That's just my trading style. So, I would be long against 293. If it were to break out above 515, I would be a buyer there. If it lost 493, then you probably have a chance for a pretty nice short coming back the other side. So that's what I see in Apple. Amazon, that was a tough trade yesterday. You got the gap up, big move, looked like a clean breakout, and then they reversed it and brought it all the way back. So again, in no man's land here. I wouldn't be inclined to really try to do anything until price got up to 33.35 or down here to 32.50, 32.47, and then you've got an objective level to shoot against. I don't like it when it's when price is doing all this stuff inside the range. I think it's a lot more of a dart throw there, and much more apt to get a reversal right off the bat. So I'd be long above 33.35. I'd be long above 32.47, 32.50. And really the only place I'd be looking to really do a short would be 32.50 if it broke that level. I think you got a quick $50 here and possibly another 50 down to the bottom of this box. If you're bold and you see a hesitation here at 33.35, I think you can try a short. It's certainly an objective level. That doesn't mean it's going to work, but you take your shot, set a stop just above, and see if they pull it back. Microsoft, didn't really do anything yesterday except give some head fakes. You had the pop up here outside the box, then they brought it immediately right back and found this support level that we had identified at 212.50. So that we did learn something. We learned that this 212.50, is a real level right at the midpoint of this box. So, if it waffles around here this morning and stays close, I think you can get long 212.50 and look for a move back towards 215. I'd be a buyer above 215. See if it can break through this sticking point at 216. But below 212.50, I I think you either got to step aside or be short here and see if you get a move back below 211. Below 211, I would definitely be on the short side for a move back down, probably to at least 209, but possibly 205. Google, another big head fake, big spike, brought it back immediately back into the range. So today I'd be long above 1589. See if we can get a move higher. In this range here between 1570 and 1590, I wouldn't try to do much of anything there. You can be long against 1567, but below that, I think price is going to be coming back to test this gap again. As I mentioned earlier, banks went nuts yesterday. This is the KRE Regional Banking Index. It was up 4.5%. It's in this big symmetrical triangle. You can see on all the touch points along support, it's got a nice lift. But the 200 has served as stiff resistance and has really contained it since March. Notice this price, volume over price void here. If price can come up and break this triangle, break above the 200 EMA, I think it's going to be a fast trip to 47. So, in your platform, why don't you set an alarm at 42? It may take a month before it goes off, or it may never go off. But I think that would be a nice long trade if price were to pop out of all this stuff, get above the 200, and move into this price void. I think it would be a quick trip up to 47, and that would be a nice trade. I did note in the Profit Compass on the blog this morning that there's a whale out there that didn't buy this move. He bought September 39, 34 put spread. He bought that 33,000 times. So he's not buying this move. In fact, he's planning on a breakdown to come in here to backtest 34. I wouldn't follow that trade just for the simple fact that there's a big line of support here. What I would do, though, and what I have done, is set an alarm in here at 37.5, right in that range. And if this were to fail and then trigger that, then I think you can try a short from like 38 to 34, or from 37 to 34 with a little put spread. And it may go down much more if this big triangle breaks. So that would be where I would get short. So alarm, 37.50 on the short side and 42 on the long side. And I think those would be decent trade locations. PANW, I had been watching this. We had a nice trade in here a while back, and I think we pulled the plug right in here. Never got back in. I was watching it and didn't take the breakout. And they had earnings last night, and they pulled the rug on them pretty good. I think the overnight low was 252, and it's trading right now around 257. Here's what I want to do. I want to watch that real close. We've got the 50 EMA right here coming in at like, 248. We've got the prior breakout level here at 250. In the best of all possible worlds, I would like some more sellers to come in and push this down near 250. I'd like to take a long there for the simple reason that rug pull basically serves as a back test of this breakout at 250. We had a touch here, a touch here, bunch of touches here. I think 250 is going to be rock solid support. We've also got the 50 EMA coming in, and then we've got a big $20 overhead open gap to fill. I think it's really objective to try a long against 250 and then look for that gap fill with a stop just below the 50 EMA at 248. So you're risking, if we get something near 250, 251, maybe 252, something like that, I think that would be a really nice entry. Now, I said in the pre-market was trading 257. That's not going to work. So, because you're halfway between where it dropped and where support is. So, for me, it's got to get down here, 251, 252, 250 and a half, 250. Anywhere in there, I think would be perfect. But out in space here, no. Too much chance of it coming back into 250, and I think that's what it would do. If it stays, 257 today, I'm just going to watch it, and I think you should too. Set yourself an alarm at 252, and if it breaks down below that, it'll just give you a heads up to pay attention again. But I think that would be a nice buy point. Okay, so to wrap it up, let's watch the cyclicals and the value and the junk today. See if there's any follow through. If there is, I would expect the FAAMGs and the Qs to be on the soggy side. So if it gets any worse than that, there may be some interesting shorts develop in technology if money comes out really fast and goes into value. Okay, that's about all I've got. I really appreciate your time this morning. If you check over in the show notes, there's links to both the blog and to register to get all my content 6 days a week. I'd really appreciate that. If you like the content, please smash the like button. I'd appreciate that, and certainly subscribe to the channel. Later today, I hope to have a fresh watch list to go over with you. I've got a lot of interesting names piling up. I want to put those together in a list and post it on the blog, and also do a video with it, so you can look forward to that later today. This has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. Have a good day of trading, and talk to you next time.